one does not complete an in-game quest line 200 times for no reason. People in the community post have had many varying reactions to the marriages. My friends have been wondering why I don't play something else already, and my siblings wonder when, if ever, they will be getting a new sister-in-law. And these are all valid reactions when faced with such a peculiar and long-term repetition. Elden Ring has now been out for over 4 years, meaning I have on average completed Ranni's questline once a week since early 2022. Most people nowadays don't even work the same job for 4 years in a row, making completing an optional video game questline even more strange. So why do I do it? It's weird how I've never answered this, and part of the reason why is because I've never answered it for myself. However, I will likely have one of the alleged reasons in the thumbnail, but after some degree of introspection, here is the reason. The completion of Ranni's questline is an in-game and meta expression of free will. Her path, especially if you don't do Roger's questline, is a well out-of-the-way chance meeting that Ranni postulates is procured by fate itself. Halfway through the quest, when you believe it to be over, you have to actively ignore her wishes and seek her out if you want to marry her. What really struck me the first time I placed that ring on her finger was the contrast between this love story and the rest of the game. Elden Ring is not nearly as dark as Bloodborne or Dark Souls 3, but the ending of this quest is such a stark difference from the rest of the game that it really struck a chord with me, and is much of the reason why I continue to do it 4 years later. In my build videos, it is not expedient, but rather detrimental to complete her questline. I have spent hundreds of extra hours in game when I could have been progressing the run and recording more for the build video of the week. Yet, I still do her quest. Because when I play Elden Ring, that is what I do. If pure efficiency was what I was after, I'd be playing on PC using some quality of life mods and skipping over her questline. I'm certain I have said this before, but I am not here to be efficient. I am here for the love of the game. And so now I ask all of you, whether it be in Elden Ring, a Souls-like, or any video game you have a lot of time in, I want to know what's something that you do that is not efficient, but is purely for the love of the game. I'm sure we will have some very interesting comments this week. And as always, for more videos like this, every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, be sure to like and subscribe to The Jersey Side. Also, do stay tuned for March 25th, where my fantasy novel, Follow the Gleam, will be launching. Information on it after release will be placed down in the description below. Now, this is a Jersey Side video after all, so let's dive into the build specifics for the background footage. This was a Wilder-inspired build, with the Anspur Rapier in the left and the Darkmoon Greatsword in the right. The Rapier was frost-infused, so the build focused on intelligence. For some quick jabs at the beginning of a fight, use that Anspur Rapier to inflict Scarlet Rot, and since we have the Kindred of Rot's Exaltation, that gives us a 20% damage boost. Now at range, and perhaps with Frostbite already inflicted, we can power up the Darkmoon Greatsword for better damage with melee attacks, or great range damage with the Charged Heavy. Plan on inflicting Frostbite a lot on this build, as every attack, ranged and melee, will inflict the status. And in some fights, I only used one of the weapons. For example, on Malekith, for Beast Clergyman, I only used the Darkmoon Greatsword, and switched into two-handing the Anspur Rapier for the Black Blade. The talismans for the build were the Dragon Crest Great Shield for 20% more physical damage negation, the Two-Headed Turtle Talisman for better stamina regeneration, the Shard of Alexander for better damage on the Moonlight Greatsword Beam, and the Kindred of Rot's Exaltation for 20% more damage after we inflict Scarlet Rot. The tiers for the build were the Opaline Hard tier for 15% more damage negation, and the Magic Shroud and Crack tier for a 20% boost to our magic damage. Our stats for the build were 60 Vigor, 20 Mind. As we're not using spells, we only need to stay buffed on the Darkmoon Greatsword. 37 Endurance, 16 Strength, and 20 Dexterity to wield both weapons with one hand each, and 80 Intelligence, as this is where our magic damage scaling comes from. Thank you all for watching this kind of out-of-the-ordinary video. At Marriage 200, I simply had to make something like this. My friends really wanted an explanation. But next week, we'll be getting back into the groove of things. Expect a new build video around the Banished Knight's Greatsword in Elden Ring, and a willpower-focused build, aka a caster build, in Code Vein 2. Expect those two and many more build videos to come.